Chapter 1 At a Loss. I have been gone for a long time. In the afterlife there is no place in time. At the time that I currently speak on, I wasn't aware how I died. To find these answers I was told to go to the in-between. The realm between hell and heaven. The third world stands within that realm, most call it limbo. What I've found was telling. With this man I knew I was going too far. We had been together for 1 year, living in his apartment. I loved his apartment because it had beautiful details, a marble counter with a rocky crystal sparkle hidden within. A beautiful pearl white tub that holds 110 gallons of water. A beautiful view. I can say I'm a fan of luxury. In this frame of time I was becoming happy, at least I thought I was then. As I watched my flashbacks of memories before our 1-year anniversary, I realized I was not truthfully happy. We had known each other since high school and we hit it off. For a while we lived our lives and now it's been a year. Flashback. I woke up to flitters in my stomach. The baby was kicking. My daughter had been growing in my stomach for 8 months and she was ready to make an appearance. I always thought she would come too early. My man Marcel would stop me from worrying. He was always good with that calming me down stuff, but not on this morning. As well as my daughter woke me, he did as well. His voice projecting off the walls while on his game. I hated that damn game. Some people can be what makes you whole, but they can also be what drains you empty. I follow the angered yells to his game room. Marcel sat in his gaming chair with a headset on top of his head, playing on his PC. Ganja smoke harassed the air. It was then I saw my man with a sweet in his mouth. He also had on a wife beater with stains that hadn't been washed in days. It wasn't ever put in a basket to be washed. He muddled while the blunt burned inches away from his lips. You're not even in double digits, bitch. Now when I come around and find yo woman cuss you wanna threaten me, hem. I clear my throat. He takes the nicely rolled swisher out his mouth and blew out smoke. I'm sorry, I got carried away, he said. Laughs from his headphones alarmed him and made him angry again. He yells. Now when I pull out that sleepa don't beg fa ya pussy ass life. He mutes then throws his headset. I watched as he storms out the room. Turn up the heat in here, it's freezing, he says. He wasn't this angry months ago, but I started to see his patterns of anger get worse. Never at me. It seemed he was angry about life. Me wanting the best in people, I thought I could help him, so I stayed to show him I'd be a loyal wife one day. I already wore his ring around my finger. I was engaged. 3 months into my pregnancy. Little did I know I found out why he was angry. Flashback 1 week later. I was in my robe prepping a wig when I noticed job applications sitting on the table. Paper job applications in 2019 seemed strange to me, well at least a stack of them seems off. I waited for Marcel to come home that night. He came in a half hour later than usual. That wasn't uncommon. Every other 4 days of the week he came staggering in with 2 6-packs of beer and 4 bottles of whiskey, some bottles about 2 sips away from being drank dry. Hey, sexy mamas, he yells gleefully. Hi baby, how was your day at work? It wasn't anything important, he slurs. Well, tell me about these applications, are you planning to quit? He froze. It seemed I had aggravated him. Don't mind it, he said sternly while walking away. I hesitate to follow, then I make my way to the bedroom where he was taking off his shirt. I need to know what's going on, I say before I could finish. He hits the wall as he pathetically spins around, struggling to remove the shirt from his head. I continue on through his frustrations. You're leaving me out of stuff you used to be honest about. What is going on? Shirtless and out of breath he looks at me and says, baby, there is nothing happening. He puts his hand on my arms and tries to move close. I back up. No, something is off, I said firmly. Nothing is off, he said. I follow back with my response. You're hiding something. I know you're worried baby, he said, trying to make me feel that he cares. His voice gets quieter. I'm not doing nothing wrong. He hugs me while rubbing my arm. It could be the pregnancy hormones, and it also doesn't help that you didn't want to take your meds through the pregnancy. Although this is true, he still is deflecting, trying to avoid the situation. I believe he was struggling, or battling something he wants to help, but with the chronic drinking, video games and other things, I felt something wasn't right. I let him have this one as he kissed me slowly on the neck. As the morning sun rised, I see the beautiful view from the bed. I hear the snores of Marcel next to me. I get out the bed and made my way to the refrigerator. Good morning, the fridge says. What's the weather? I asked. Someone knocks at the door. Seeing through the peephole I see the landlord. Hi, Mr. Coachman, how are you? I let him in. Mr. Coachman, from what I remember, was a bigger guy, kinda, plain Jane, but he'd get the job done when something was broken. I need to speak to Marcel. Oh, well, whatever the issue is with the faucet in the kitchen, I can handle basic information. No ma'am, you're being evicted. Bills have but been paid in months. Oh my god. I yell. I turn to the bedroom, but before I could move, Marcel waltz out the room, holding his head. Fuck is going on? He asked in confusion. Mr. Coachman stiffened straight. I told you if you didn't leave by today, police will be called to relieve you from the premises. What? I say, fighting tears. Baby, it'll be okay. Listen man, you're getting my girl all upset, let's do this another time. I need you out today. Mr. Coachman said while not changing his composure. I start to cry. Marcel angered says, all these years I've been loyal to you and just for this in the end. You really gonna kick a man out while he don't have a job to work under and I got a kid to feed soon, and you kick me out? You bottom feeding, low down, piss water piece of shit. I leave the two men arguing and call my mother. Mom, I need a place to go. Marcel lost the apartment, now we're homeless. Tears start streaming down my face. What are we gonna do, Mom? I'm having a baby soon. Honey, you can stay here. Come home, she said sympathetically. The yelling gets louder between the landlord and my fiancé. You can get the hell out. Marcel yells. Marcel then charges at the landlord. Mr. Coachman runs out the door. I'll be back with the cops. He yells while running away. Well, you do that, ya goddamn Teletubby. He slams the door and turns to see my face. I knew he was disappointed at himself when he saw my reaction. Anguish showed on his face. We have to find a place to live, he said. At this point our relationship couldn't be on a more dangerous fault line. Time eager to break us apart. We managed to argue the entire way to my mother's home. She lived an hour away. She let me and Marcel in. We dragged in suitcases and totes. Us both looking and playing the part of the homeless was apparently unappealing to my mother because the faces she'd give us both looked like we smelled the part as well. Noticing she doesn't say hello first, she says, yeah, and you can move those totes to the garage. As Marcel leaves with two totes in his arms, he moves to the garage. I end up face to face with my mother. What is going on? She asked. Marcel wasn't paying the bills. He quit his job because people were lying on him. Why would he quit a job and he knows he has a baby? I can hear my mother's irritation growing stronger as I try to hide what I know. I don't know, Mama. He said he couldn't bring himself to tell me, so he would hide out at his friend's house. To keep me from knowing. She pauses and frowns while rolling her neck. She said, and you believe that? That man was out gambling your money away down to the last dime, and here you are lying like a dog to protect him. I stood still saying nothing. Marcel comes back in the room. Hello, Mama, he says. She quickly puts a hand up. You mum, don't call me that. We both sit down on the long couch. She sat in her fluffy gray recliner. For a few seconds no one spoke. Marcel breaks the silence. Well, Miss Tanya, thank you for letting us stay here while we get back on our feet. I don't know what all she's told you, but I am filling out job applications. Tanya clasps her fingers. She's told me a lot. And we isn't staying in my house. There must have been a miscommunication between you and Yanda. I said she could stay in my house. I never gave you my blessing. Only if I knew where this would have headed I'd be alive today. Chapter 2. Mother Tanya. My mama is a strong woman. She's always looked young and had curves, beauty, her hair always done. Earrings, bracelets, acrylic nails. Done to a T. She would never be caught lacking. Even her house held fashion, dark gray, well-grayed couches, matching rugs, lamps with light gray and white, details with purpose. That put the pieces together. Her looks brought in her type of men. Men with money and no degrees. Men for the streets. She is a very smart woman, but how she dates is real shallow. Men who provide her with money and put her in two-floor houses so she can design them, only then for the guy to get mad and destroy it all. Her last ex Bensley was killed in jail for scamming the wrong people. I guess it's how she chose to live and survive. Her mom abandoned her. Her dad did things. She only told me her dad was a dealer. But her parents made her quick, smart, intuitive. She tells the truth, and she's old school. Her old school ways won't make it easy for me to get Marcel in her house. She never let me bring him in the house back in high school, even boys I was with when I was 19 and 20. This isn't going to be easy. Mo, I stop before calling her mom. She knows I know already when I call her mom. Mama, we have no money for a hotel. The last of it went to a parking garage for my daughter's stuff. I realized I've said too much. I bit my lip. Marcel lowers his head. And whose fault is that? You shouldn't be looking at me with them sad sagging eyes. You need to look to the man next to you. She sits back in her chair. I stand and grab the duffel bag next to me. Well, if you're gonna bash me like that, we're just gonna leave. Marcel puts his hand out to stop me from walking. No, he said calmly. I look at my mother and sit back down. How's your alcohol abuse? Tanya solidly asked. Marcel looked at me with confusion. Then looked at my mother. Tanya, I'm going to get a job, just give me that time, I promise. I've been on my own for 7 years now. I can hold my own. I'll go to AA. Give me time to figure stuff out. My mother takes a second to process. She takes a breath. Time takes too long, you have less than a month to change. Before you have a daughter and not one excuse to have after that. You can stay, only because kicking you out won't help my granddaughter in any way. Yanda, you know where the extra room is. Me and Marcel grab our things and make it to the bedroom. This room had all white with hints of green. White walls, a thick white blanket over the bed, green straw foliage and long, white vases. Stand on each side of the electronic fireplace. With the TV above it. Marcel sits on the bed. I'm sorry I did this to you, Yanda. I start unpacking my bags and putting my wrinkled clothes in the closet. He notices my anger while I quickly put clothes on hangers. This caused him to open up. Yanda, I was with my friends, but I wasn't scared to tell you. I was ashamed. I pause from packing and look him in his eyes. Don't talk in here, she hears everything. 10 minutes later, me and Marcel went out to the car. Large raindrops sprinkle on the windows of the car. What's going on? I ask. Marcel looks straight ahead and grips the steering wheel. I was gambling with the boys. I thought you stopped, I asked. So now you gamble, you smoke, you drink and you lie. You scream. He turns to me. I know I'm doing wrong, but give me time, I interrupt. Time. I trusted you to change. You said you would. I'm in the middle of giving you a child, I've been giving you time. All you've managed to do with it is fuck us over. My face crumpled, I began to cry. All you managed to do is take everything our daughter was going to know and gambled and drank it away. I see him getting ready to speak. No, you need to listen. Now I'm getting bashed by my mama because I trusted a man that fucked over not just me but his own daughter too. I yelled. I calm down and carry on. I expected a man out of you. I thought you got your shit together. You had flaws but they were never this bad. You were different than the men my mom put herself around. You were supposed to be different. I know, he agreed solemnly. Well, we're here now and this is my chance to hear you and change. He said. Okay, I said while wiping tears from my eyes. How about we go somewhere? Just go do something. Me leaning against the car door covering my face, I say with no enthusiasm at all, what is there to do in the Midwest on a rainy day in the cold? We can go to a pumpkin patch, he said with a hopeful smile. Me and my man went to the pumpkin patch, we had a great time, actually. For a while Marcel seemed to improve, he wasn't drinking, but he still was struggling to land work. My mom was doing well with us lately. She's been mainly focused on her grandbaby Yayla. Yayla was on the earth for only 2 weeks at the time. Everything was going great within these 4 weeks. Little did I know that was the calm before the storm. You're a drunken sad excuse for a life form, Tanya yells. What is that even on? Marcel asked. It's not true, he says. It's not true. I'm watching it, she yells back. I lift my head to see what's going on. I get really dizzy and lay back down. The door slams and I fall back to sleep. When I woke up, I noticed Yayla wasn't in her bassinet. I slugged my way to the kitchen. I leaned against the wall and held my stomach. My mom, holding the baby, noticed me struggling to stand. She puts Yayla in her swing and rushes to help me to the table. What were you and Marcel arguing over? My mom grabbed a tea pack from the cabinet. I seen a video I'll have to show you. She hands me the phone. I see my man drunk on a forklift, spinning in circles. Marcel laid slumped over. Someone laughed behind the phone as the person recording said, "You alright, buddy?" Brother drank more than he can piss. My lips part in surprise. My mother handed me a teacup. This is how he lost his job, I say while sounding strained. I called him 16 times, he wasn't answering. By then my mother had already started feeding the baby my breast milk. She said from the couch while patting Yayla's back. You might as well give it a rest. I stand from my chair and put my phone down. Yeah, he's probably out getting drunk. I sat next to my mom and I fixated my focus on the TV. Later into that night he came home. My mother stood in the kitchen. I had just fed the baby. I stand from the kitchen chair and started to storm at him. Where have you been, motherfucker? He puts his hand up to distance me. Chill out, I was at a bar. Damn, I ain't been smoking or drinking. I needed a rest. When he gets like this he tries to trigger me to make me feel bad. That wasn't gonna work this time. What's up with this viral video of you? You lied once again about another thing and disgracing our family once again. I'm the process. I yell. Watch your fucking mouth, woman. Me and my coworkers were doing a skit. He yells. Before he could lie further I yelled, a skit. That's what you come up with as a lie. I can't take you anymore, you're too much. My eyes got blurry. I'm sick of both you bitches doubting my process. I'm not perfect at all times. He yelled. My ears muffled his last few words. I was so angry I was losing all motor functions. I continue on yelling. We all know you're not perfect, that's the last thing anyone would expect out of you. I start swaying. Marcel didn't realize what was happening. He continues on. What do you want? I can't get work, that's all that. Before he could finish I collapsed. 3 When it starts. Oh shit, Marcel said while supporting my head.